Bitstorm, a comedy game design podcast by two guys who know nothing about comedy nor game design. I'm Trevor Scott, and with me as always is Ben Slinger.
Hello, welcome to the podcast. Click pitch.
Yeah.
It's a thing we do. Where we each take a random word generator. And on the count of 3, 2, 1, click. We click refresh, we get a new word. And we try to pronounce them. Sometimes we look them up because we don't know what they mean. And then we turn them into game designs, hopefully based on their actual definition.
Yes, indeedy.
That was an intro. Oh, boy.
It's going to be one of those nights. Yay.
It's going to be one of them. One of thems. All right, let's just do it. Forget the small talk. 3, 2, 1, click. Issuing.
Second.
Ooh, like a second issuing. Something like a book, like editions, issues, or magazines. Second issue of a magazine.
Or it's a time-based game in which it is a day. It's a second in the life of this.
A second in the life. It's like a WarioWare style thing. You play 1 second out of all these characters' lives. That could work. Like, you've got like a fixed number of characters and you kind of jump between them a second at a time.
Well, what I'm picturing is it's like the second that all these things go down. It's sort of like the it's sort of played out. It takes quite a while. Like, it's very, very slow moving. I'm thinking that the whole game could almost be in slow motion.
Yeah,
and it's sort of like,
the whole game's in slow motion. It takes a course over 1 second. Not much can happen in 1 second, though, man.
I don't know. I reckon if there was, like, say, what it comes down to is each of these characters that you're sort of seeing is seeing their final moments in life. So you don't necessarily have to take it down to a second, but you're talking about like the last few seconds in their life.
Yeah, let's not be strict about it. Let's maybe you could maybe even be down to like the last minute or two.
Yeah.
I'm picturing now kind of a source code style situation. Have you seen Source Code?
Yep.
Yeah.
I really like that film. That's pretty cool.
It's great. In that, you're playing through the last couple of minutes of all these people's lives, but each time you all remember what happened the last time round. But you play a different person every time. Either that or you play some sort of consciousness that's jumping between all these people, and so you're the only person who remembers what happens each time.
Yeah, I kind of like that idea that everyone's sort of doing, you know, it's almost like your Groundhog Day sort of thing, except it's only like a minute or two before.
It's like, it's Quantum Leap. But every time you fail, you jump back into one of the other people to get another chance.
Yep.
And so, you're never able to jump into the same person twice because you failed that person. They're dead in their timeline.
What I like is what you set them off doing, they're still doing every single time. So if you
that's interesting.
If you totally stuff up and you block, say, you block the button that you need to press, you've got to work out a way of actually, you know, hitting that button slightly earlier. And of course, the more times that you try, the more bodies that are in the way.
No, I love that. And you could just make it a super quick game where it's like, you know, it's a half-hour game or something, and you're playing the last 2 minutes of 15 different people.
Yep.
But yeah, like, maybe you get to choose who you jump into next. And then each subsequent round, what you did as that person plays out.
Yeah.
So it's really an extreme version of one of those, you know, those cloning games where you create a shadow version of yourself or whatever and stand over here and lift up the platform and then reset yourself back. But it's more narrative.
Yeah.
Because I like the idea then that, you know, sort of like Source Code, you're trying to solve this mystery then. You're trying to figure out who planted the bomb or who put the poison in the fucking Kool-Aid or whatever. Like, whatever kills all these people.
Yep.
The goal is to track that person down or solve that mystery. But yeah,
you can jump into all these consciousnesses because these are the people that died. So I think there's like one or two NPCs who don't die, but obviously you can't actually jump into them because the way this thing actually works.
That's interesting though. What if you then like stop them so that on one go through they do die? Like that could be part of the strategy even.
Could be.
It's like I know that I'm going to need to get into this person who right now I can't jump into because they didn't die in that final moment. So one of the things you have to do to solve this is make sure they die. So that then next time you can go, yes, now I can jump into them because they're part of that, whatever the quantum event was that merged everyone's consciousness, souls together.
Yeah. Okay, so you find the kid that's playing with the BB gun, and you go, okay, so I'm going to jump into him this time, and I'm going to shoot a BB gun right into her eye so that she dies. Or
so she doesn't die immediately, but she can't get away fast enough. But that's good. Like, I sort of keep going to the train, which is let's not do the train because that's two source code. But I think it's still a bomb. It's in like a museum.
It's on a plane.
And then it's on an automobile, and John Candy and Steve Martin are there.
Someone was going to make that joke. If it wasn't you, it was going to be me.
Classic. No, I think it's in like a museum, but and so one of the people who gets away is the security guard, and like they're the only person who has a weapon or who has has a key, has a certain key or something. But they keep getting away before things happen, and you can't manage to stop them until you find the person who does have the gun, maybe, and so you shoot him in the leg. If you shoot him in the head, it still doesn't work because they didn't die in the blast because there's something about the blast. I really like that idea because
But the problem is if you Sparta kick them into like into the dinosaur bones, but it happens early on, then every single time that you go to do something with this person, they get Sparta kicked. It's like, oh, damn
it. No, that's it. This is the thing. It like everything affects each successive. Is that the right word? Each successive run through. So it is really this strategy, and that's why I think you have to make it short because I think it's really actually easy to fail and fuck it up.
Yeah, and I think what actually happens if you get into an unwinnable situation, then it's sort of over, and then you got to start from the start again and think about it a little bit more.
Well, and you may depending on how you make the game, you might not even be able to determine that it's an unwinnable situation. Unless I guess a key person dies too early in the timeline or something.
Yeah, or you've gone through it the 15 times, you still haven't solved it, and therefore you got no more bodies to jump into, and therefore it's over.
Right, of course. Yeah, you can reach the end and fail. Yeah, sorry, I thought you were saying that like you preempt them and say, oh, because you just did that, you there's no way you can win it, even though you're on your third.
Oh no,
person.
you let them keep on going, even if it's even if it is unwinnable. It's like it's a puzzle game.
That's really cool. Yeah, it is basically a puzzle game, and then you could have different levels. Then
DLC
that the
make
different events. Yeah, or just do it episodic, whatever. That's really fucking cool.
'Tis.
3, 2, 1, click.
Yeah. Medical.
Failure.
Ooh. So you're in a museum.
You know what? That would be a good game for us to play where each game has to start in the same place as the previous one ended up. Like not as a sequel sort of thing, but just using the setting or something.
Okay, so we're going to try this. This week's episode is continuous click pitch.
Yeah. It's like that celebrity game where you have to like take the last letter of the name to do the next celebrity. We have to like take the last element that we can think of from the previous game and start with it. Okay. So, Museum,
you're playing a paramedic, and you're arriving at the museum where the museum's curator has actually just like collapsed. Okay. So it's a medical issue.
It's a rhythm
game. Had some sort of failure. It's a rhythm game as you try to, do CPR.
The paddles, the breathing, the compressions. you got to tell the girl with the iPod to like put the right track on.
Yep. The game is called Stayin Alive.
Yeah.
It's called Stayin Alive and it's sponsored by the BeeGees.
Well, or at least we license some of their music.
BeeGees presents Stayin Alive.
The BeeGees medical presents Stayin Alive, a paramedic story. Oh God! All right, I reckon. Let's just click again, and then we have to start with BeeGees.
Shit. 3 to 1 click.
3 to 1 click.
Expenditure.
Refuse.
Okay.
All right, so you're the BeeGees manager.
Exactly.
All right. You're the BeeGees manager, and it's a... what sort of game would that be where you play the BeeGees manager?
Well, they're refusing to go with your idea to like use some money to, I don't know, I'm thinking sponsor some kid or some charity, and they're refusing to spend as much money as you're sort of asking them to do.
Right, because they're assholes?
No,
it?
I think what it is maybe the manager is actually like trying to get them to, spend money that they really don't have because it's like his charity sort of thing.
Okay. So is this like once they're not touring anymore, they're kind of getting on? Well, when was the last time? When did the first one die?
What was that?
When did the first one die? The first BG.
They died, did they?
Yeah, there's apparently one left.
Okay. I didn't realize there was some.
Yep.
Death.
So we are being really...
Okay, so it's the final BG who's still alive.
They didn't follow their own advice.
So Barry is still alive.
Barry's still alive. So it's about Barry BG.
Yep, Barry BG. He's
Sir Barry BG.
Sir Barry BG, even better. Sir Barry BG, who I'm thinking rather than a manager, he's refusing to spend like the final lot of inheritance. Okay, I'm seeing this as like an action adventure game in which like the BeeGees were actually a set of kind of like trying to think of what it was in the that Abe Simpson was part of in.
Oh yeah, like the flying something.
Yeah,
fish.
Yeah,
fish guys.
Yeah, so I like the idea that like he's got the keys from when Robin died.
Flying hellfish.
So I'm liking the fact that he's got the key to the secret crypt. Turns out that the BeeGees are actually like a secret organization that has been around for years, but they realize.
Oh wait! Yes, I love this idea, but
it goes back to Egypt.
It's not just the BeeGees.
Okay,
it's like all these old bands. It's the Beatles.
Yep.
It's like
Rolling Stones.
Well, too many of them are still alive. I'm thinking that there's only like, because who's left in the Beatles? Just fucking McCartney, right?
No, Ringo Starr.
Oh, and Ringo.
Don't kill Ringo.
But he doesn't count. He gave up his key.
He
left it in the Thomas the Tank Engine studios.
It's kind of like the Highlander, but it's with...
He lost it in a bet or something.
In fact, that's exactly what it is. It's like the Highlander, but it's with all these different people. So what's his name? Kurt Cobain from Nirvana was part of this group. Jimi Hendrix Mama Cass.
Well, we have to
Elvis.
wait, because we have to wait. We have to figure out when this, because there needs to be a time when all of these people were alive.
No, it's just that there's people who have been brought into it through family things along the way.
Okay.
So I think it's something that the management has actually got, is party to. Like, they know that this shit's going down.
Oh, so like some music producer made a deal with the devil.
Yep.
To like give, whoever gave them the power to whoever they found, they could give them vast musical prowess.
Yep.
And so that's why all these people are so popular and so skilled. Is they're actually, it's kind of like the Pick of Destiny sort of thing, but it's more like something that can be sort of passed on and brought into.
Yep.
So who has it now?
Well, I think the BeeGees
is it like Carly Rae
keys,
Jepsen or something?
Well, I think the BeeGees key is with Barry still.
Well, okay, wait, because we need so they still have keys. There's some sort of object.
Yep.
Involved, which gives them the power.
I'm thinking that it's like a portal to another world or something like that.
Were there limited numbers of these things? Like, well, let's try to lock it down to a certain thing, because either, like, if there are limited numbers of them, then we can't bring too many people in it from like over different times, because like, why are there so many of them, and how are they producing more? If we want to bring it down to there are only a few left, and this whole thing is like you're fucking battling to like open the final portal to rock stardom or something, like not stardom, but like the essence of rock music or something, like the god of rock. You know what I mean? Like, yep. we don't want to go. We need to figure out what that actually is.
Okay, so there's definitely the BeeGees. Beatles, yes.
BeeGees, Beatles, Elvis, maybe?
Hendrix.
Hendrix, Michael Jackson.
AC/DC.
Maybe.
So AC/DC, but only the original AC/DC.
Okay.
So as in, you're not including, what's his name, who joined in Back in Black or whatever. You're only including Bon Scott as like the original member.
Yeah, okay.
So I like the fact that, it's sort of like you've got one, maybe two people left from the AC/DC. You've got two people from the Beatles left, and then you've got the one from the BeeGees, and that's it. Like,
that's it?
These are all that's remaining. Basically, they're from each sort of continent, even though it doesn't quite work because, like, Beatles and BeeGees are pretty much from the same place, even though BeeGees are also somewhat Australian as well.
Yeah, there's different. So because we've got Angus Young left, we've got Paul McCartney, we've got Ringo, although he's not really in it because he, like, lost it in a bit.
Yeah, he lost the key, like...
So he's still like... Well, and that's part of it. It's you still have to find it. It's just Ringo doesn't have it.
Yeah. So Ringo comes in and Paul goes, "I thought we told you not to come in here." It's like
No, well, they have to go seek Ringo out. They're like, fuck, we got to talk to Ringo. And Ringo's like, "I lost it in a bet." That's the horrible Ringo accent.
It's how I ended up as the narrator for Thomas the Tank Engine. I lost a bet in a poker game.
I lost it in a poker game. That was a bit more Michael Caine.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay, so yeah, I'm loving this. It's maybe set it's set in 2012, just after... Oh, no, whatever it is, whenever the last AC/DC member passed away.
Yeah, okay.
So, in the last 2 years.
Let's just get the timeline down. Malcolm, 2017.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay,
it's
so
like
it's set in 2017.
It's the start of 2018, so it's like a year and a half ago.
Yeah. What I'm thinking is, like, all the soundtrack is based off these main bands.
And there's fucking mashups and stuff.
Oh, yeah. So I think your main character that you play is actually Barry Gibb.
Okay. Yep. That's where we started it all, so that's fine.
Yep.
And you said it's an action-adventure?
Action-adventure.
So 72-year-old Barry Gibb just, like, puts on his holster.
Guitar holster. Yep. He's got a guitar that turns into like a machine gun sort of thing. But it fires out like laser.
Well, hang on. Let's not go too out there. We want this to be realistic. This game where all these 70s rockers have fucking superpowers, or whatever, magical portal keys. No, I feel like this is it is still it is an action adventure. It's more of a brawler though. Like I think it is it's semi-realistic in that like the combat is punching. You can use your guitar and smack people with it, you know, or like pick up things. So it's more like a bar fight brawl, you know, whenever you fight someone. It's just like, oh shit, like grab that heavy book off the shelf and slam it over their head, kick them when they're down. Yeah. Okay,
so what I'm actually thinking is that all these guys from like the 70s and somewhat 80s, you know, they're trying to hold on to the secret, but what's actually happened is because they were considered, you know, popular music back in the 70s, there's a new group that has sort of come up that is based on current popular music and, you know, sort of like different eras. And that's who they're basically going up against, all these new pop groups. Because it turns out that music has always been, you know, sort of based off of all these different deals with the devil. And it's how they sort of interact with each other.
Well, because I was just looking, I was annoyed that we didn't have any women in the four main characters there. But fucking all of Fleetwood Mac is still alive. I wanted to throw Stevie Nicks in there. They're all still alive. God damn it.
I think all of ABBA's still alive as well, but
yeah, probably. I'm trying to think of other.
I know. We'll keep it to the ones that we've already got.
We'll keep it to the ones we've got. We'll put them up against, like you said, if they're going up against like, it's like the next wave of musicians who have utilized this whatever musical Satan force.
Yeah. So I think that no one actually knows what is behind these mystical locks in like Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
So
who has that? Let's think. Who has the keys now? So because there were 3 BeeGees, 3 in AC/DC, 4 in the Beatles. Mm-hmm. So there's 10 of them. That's a nice round number.
Yep.
10 original keys. So Barry's got 3. Angus has 3 because like they just got left to them when their band members died.
Yep.
Paul has 3.
Paul has 2.
And so Paul only has.
Oh no.
No, I think Paul has 3.
Yeah, Paul has 3, and he can't find
George and John's. He doesn't have Ringo, so he's like, all right, we got to go to Ringo. Ringo's like, I don't know. That was a bit better.
I'm just imagining going into like the BBC studios where Thomas the Tank Engine is filmed and just beating the shit out of all
searching under tables.
You get there and then there's, you know, you see there's like a Top of the Pops sort of stage, and then coming off the stage is like Carly Rae Jepsen, who then you know,
she's got one of the new
turns around, squeals like a banshee, and all these people, you know, sort of come out, and it's all about now.
It's like a big fight scene,
huge fight scene, getting away with the key. I think there can be a couple of other keys that are actually missing as well.
Well, let's say this. Okay, let's do this right. So there are 10 original keys where Satan came to Earth and presented them to some music producers to say, here, like, make music, you know, bring my sound into the world of rock music. Now in the modern times, and this is part of what's kicked off the need to bring these keys, the original keys together, is it's happened again. There's 10 more keys.
And so they want to put a stop to it once and for all because people have been corrupted by the influence.
Yeah, maybe there's something different about these keys. Maybe it wasn't Satan himself who presented them. Maybe it was like one of his underlings trying to recreate that situation, but he fucked it up somehow.
Yeah, and that's why we've got such dodgy music
pop
nowadays.
Music. No, I'm just kidding. That's why we've got what?
Such dodgy music nowadays.
Oh, whatever. We're just old farts, but yeah, I guess who is it spread amongst? Is it pop musicians?
Yeah, and I think
is it like Katy Perry and Carly Rae Jepsen?
I think you find out in it that Kanye actually has like 4 of the keys at the moment.
Oh, Kanye has got 4 of them. He's actually been killing people.
No, he's just been stealing keys, like because
he's just been stealing them.
Yeah, and lying and cheating and getting his way there. I think 50 Cent used to have a key, but then it got like stolen from Kanye.
Stole it.
Yep.
Yeah, Kanye stole it.
Sure. Bieber's definitely got a key. Like, there's no way that he could actually be popular without a key.
Yeah. Well, and that's we really wanted to dig into the whole pop music sucks thing, which, look, whatever. These people are still skilled, but it's a fun conceit. Then it could be that these keys rather than just giving them like ultimate music prowess, it actually just gives them sort of fame and like sexual magnetism or something.
Yeah, it's kind of like,
you know what I mean?
It's kind of like given to these people, and with it, no matter what they release, it will sell big.
Yeah,
and that seems to be what happened with all these people. When you sort of lose your way, then something can happen to you. Or when
I feel like Bieber's probably lost his key too then, but maybe it's just run out of juice. He started too early.
And yeah, so I'm just imagining that.
All right, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is there some like 3-person boy band that's really is like One Direction or something? How many people? There's probably like more than that. Maybe it's only a few of them have it.
I'm trying to have a look.
There's 4 of them. Oh, there were 5, but Zayn Malik left.
Yeah. Oh, damn it!
Because he left because he didn't have a key.
Yep. Okay.
But also, one of the other four also doesn't have a key, but he's just more of a pushover, so he's sticking around and like riding on the coattails of the other 3.
Yeah, hoping that when one of them leaves, he'll get the key.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, so Kanye's got 4, Carly Rae Jepsen has 1, Bieber has 1, Katy Perry has 1, and One Direction is 3.
I love that Kanye has 4, like, and he's looking to get all 10.
Oh yeah, he's hunting him down. Like, maybe that's part of the whole fucking thing. Like, you find this out, and part of it is stopping Kanye. He's the big villain. Yeah,
and then it turns out that Carly Rae is actually being manipulated by Kanye. You know when Kanye got one of his? When he went up on stage and said, "I'm gonna let you finish."
Oh fuck! He stole it from Taylor Swift. Oh, and he totally stole Beyonce's as well.
Oh yeah,
like at some point. So there you go. He had his own once, but once he found out about the power of it, he took 50 cents. He took Taylor Swift's. He took Beyonce's, and now he's going after Carly Rae, Bieber, Katy Perry, and One Direction.
Or did he never actually have one? And he actually stole one from Tupac as well.
Oh God! Wait, is that going back to? Because when did this happen? Tupac's been dead for a while.
I don't know.
He's been dead for 20 years. No, I think that's too long ago.
Oh, damn.
I feel like this is more recent. No, I think he got one.
Okay, he got one. This
we're going too deep into who has them all anyway. It is fun to think about.
He is definitely the bad guy in this, and
oh yeah,
the more that he has,
I mean, look at the fucker.
The more that he has, the more influence he actually has over the other ones.
Yeah. Oh, okay, and that's why they're even fighting against the old school rockers.
Yep.
Is because Kanye kind of manages to exert his will.
Yep. Because I like the idea that, you know, all the kind of horribleness that Bieber does, and all the horribleness in the game that Carly Rae Jepsen starts doing.
Yeah.
It's all based off of, like, Kanye's influence.
Well, Kanye and Bieber had a whole thing, didn't they?
Oh, I don't know.
Like, weren't they kind of friends?
I know Usher was a friend of Bieber's, like, Usher's the one that got Bieber into the whole thing, and therefore we all blame Usher.
I think, like, after... And then what, sorry?
That's why we all blame Usher.
Right.
Okay.
All right, so what's the game? So we talked about third-person action adventure. You're playing Barry Gibb. So do you meet up with, like, Angus and Paul?
Yep.
And say, like, it's time. Like, we need to...
It's time. We've got, 9 of the keys. What? We've only got 9? I thought we had all 10. No.
It's like Ringo. Everyone, I was like, oh, fuck. Paul's like, oh, I forgot about Ringo. I forgot Ringo existed.
And basically they go off and they try to find this last one. And when they actually get there, I think because Carly Rae does like the Banshee scream, all the fans rush in, like all her diehard fans, and they're sort of like got these glowing red eyes that are, they're sort of under control of. That you find out later on that's Kanye. So basically, the brawler is now.
She fires a Carly. She fires a Carly Rae, and
so I'm thinking in the BBC studios for the Top of the Pops sort of thing, where you've just gone through the Thomas the Tank recording booth, and you found out that I'm thinking some low level producer actually found a key and it's hiding it away.
And maybe they found the key, they got an inkling of what it was, they tried to summon Satan and they fucked it up.
Yeah.
And they just summoned like a lesser demon.
Yeah, I like this. So now it's...
They summoned Beelzebub. It's just like... he just fucked up the runes.
He looks Satan-y, but he also looks like Silent Bob.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, he's wearing the trench coat. He's a bit overweight. I know Kevin isn't anymore, but... And he's just like, oh.
He's red,
yeah,
he's got horns.
I'm Beelzebub. I can make you magical. What did you say? Keys? Sure.
I'm just picturing that he looks exactly like Silent Bob, but like Satan-y as in, and so his name in the thing is like Satan Bob.
Satan Bob. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So I think finally you actually find this key that's been hidden away in like a bank vault somewhere. You make your way to Egypt, where you find Kanye waiting for you with, like, literally a whole heap of fans behind him, and you go through, like, this massive...
So is this... is this after you've fought off...
Carly Rae, yep.
Carly Rae, One Direction. Bieber, you just show up. He's drunk. You just take it.
He's drunk. He's pissing into a bucket.
Yeah.
You just walk past and he doesn't even
It's a stealth mission. It's around his neck, but like you can literally just walk up and take it off, and he doesn't.
Well, you're not wanting their keys because their keys are tainted.
Well, but don't you need to stop them from like? Don't you need to stop? Well, you need to. For one, you need to stop Kanye from getting them.
Yeah. So
maybe it's that every time you show up to find one of the new keys, Kanye has sent his minions or.
Oh, and just as you think that you're going to win it, like. You see the minion running off. So right at the end, it's sort of like your 10 keys versus his 9 that he has. And you see him literally slit Bieber's throat right in front of you.
To take the 10th one?
Yeah.
Oh my God. And I can picture the fucking look on his face. He's got that permanent scowl as Kanye fucking slits Bieber's throat.
And just rips the key from his neck.
Oh, he doesn't even slit his throat. He just he grabs the key
and pulls it right through his neck.
Pulls it backwards and just pulls it through his fucking
and his head just falls off. Kind of like in what's it called? Kind of like in Conan, where he throws the head down the stairs.
Oh yeah,
he's standing on the pyramid and he just rips the key right off, and his head just falls down, and you have like this massive battle of the 10. And I think The person who actually takes up the 10 from the old rockers is Barry.
Is Barry? Yeah. I mean, if you've been playing him the whole time,
yeah.
And then the fighting does have to be, or at least the end scene.
I'm picturing it as like God of War musical, sort of,
right?
God of War sort of big arcing battles with swinging like this, swinging the guitar around, but like it's kind of like Green Lantern where a big ghostly image of this massive guitar comes out.
Yeah, yeah. And there's a BeeGees Kanye mashup going on the whole time.
Yep. And you can tell who's winning by the fact that BeeGees or Kanye are actually, further up in the mix.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. Oh, I love that. Like, because you could do that in the previous ones too, right? Like, bring in remixes of these old tracks. Fucking Back in Black and Call Me Maybe, like going over the top of each other. Dun, 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 dun. Call me maybe.
Okay, I reckon we call it there.
We call it there. All right, what element are we going to take into our next game?
Decapitation on the pyramids.
Decapitation specifically on the pyramids.
I don't know.
Maybe just the pyramids. Just the pyramids.
Pyramids done.
All right. Development.
Threat.
Okay. Someone wants to knock down the pyramids and build condos.
I was actually thinking that there's been a development in like an archaeologist has actually found out.
Okay, that's probably
how the pyramids were actually built, and it was as some people have suspected.
Yeah. Okay.
Slaves. No, aliens.
Alien slaves.
Ooh, even better. And it turns out that now that we actually know the truth, we're a threat to the alien beings, and so therefore we find out that they're actually disguised among us.
Can this be XCOM 3?
Why not?
Well, I was just thinking of because I was trying to move away from yet another like beat 'em up action adventure.
Oh yeah.
And whether this is some sort of like there's some sort of building aspect or some sort of building up a base sort of thing, or like around the pyramids. I'm kind of picturing like these things going up around the pyramids.
Yeah. So I think when this is found out, all this stuff actually starts happening. The XCOM team gets together and they actually form their base, and they're now going off against all these
you know what?
Previously infiltrated spies.
Let's make this like XCOM 3000. It's like Warhammer 40k. It's like way in the future. They've destroyed the alien menace.
Mm-hmm.
But finally, after yet another millennia, archaeologists have finally figured out aliens built the pyramids. Yep. They're giant portals, like wormhole, anchors, and there's a countdown. And they're coming. It's kind of like the Mayan, like 2012 as well. Like that's how they figure it out. It's like they figure out the year based on like constellations and stuff. It's like, oh shit, like they're going to be here in 3 years, and it's like, okay, we need to reestablish XCOM.
Okay, so I had an idea that I would like to try and get involved, but whether you choose to or not, turns out that one of the scientists on XCOM's side is actually was supposed to be a double agent, but is now turned.
Of the aliens?
Yes.
Okay, so like all these years they've had their agents.
They've had agents on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the same one, maybe the same guy. And
oh yeah, okay. He's just because then you get like a Good Omen style, like lived through all this history.
Yep. You get little snippets of what time was like before he came here, what time was like when he first came here, and was doing things on their side, and is basically fallen in love with humans and and their kind. After he got them to build the pyramids, then he sort of just hid himself among us, and
and he's just been living life after life for
someone else. Yep.
For fucking by that time, 5,000 years or something? When were the pyramids built? About that. 5,000 to 6,000 years.
What I'm picturing then is that he's able to provide alien tech, sort of, and bring our technology a lot further forward, because it turns out that in the last 1,000 years our technology hasn't expanded as much as what it did.
I mean, maybe not as much as you'd want. I think we obviously want some cool future shit in there. I'm picturing XCOM with a bit more mech type stuff, like exoskeletons and that sort of thing, but still obviously the tactical kind of gameplay.
So I think he turns into your scientist, and he now as he's going, he starts remembering more and more, and you provide him some alien technology that you pick up from your first lot of battles, and he can sort of turn that into extra stuff, because he turns out to be a really, really smart guy. Obviously, the aliens have continued to build new technology in the 6,000 years since he was last with them.
Well, and here's the thing, so if there's the countdown, are they starting to come through? Is that what happens, or are your first battles before they come through, and they're with maybe other sleeper agents or whatever, or other people who have been here this whole time, or maybe disciples of, maybe there's a group of people who...
I think in the countdown...
Once this is discovered...
I think in the countdown, what's actually happening is that early on, you only get a couple of portals that are opening, and it just gets more and more until the countdown is actually reached, and that's when the full breach is actually going to happen, and pretty much their entire world sort of takes over.
Maybe then you start off, maybe there's a prologue, which is you're not even XCOM yet. You're just the military, and these events are happening, and you realize, oh shit, these are aliens. I thought we killed aliens 500 years ago and wiped them all out. Oh, they've come through these portals. All right, and you get 3 or 4 of them, and then that's when you realize, wait, these are converging. There's something that points to the pyramids here, and it's not until then that gives you the final key to be there's this archaeologist who has figured this out. Either that, or the alien guy himself comes to you and says, here's the key you need. This is a countdown. They're going to bring through their whole armies because the Earth is now ripe.
It turns
for
out
taking.
That, the archaeologist that found this information out was actually going off a tip that this scientist gave him.
Yeah.
So he's actually been orchestrating this thing as he realized the countdown was getting closer.
Yeah, yes. He's decided that, he can't let them destroy humanity.
Yeah.
But he also couldn't reveal himself at that point. But now it's getting too late. Humanity hasn't done as well as he'd hoped. So he's got to take a more a more direct path.
What I like is that you could actually have this almost he's got a chip in his head, kind of like Spike from Buffy. In that he can't actually flat out tell people what's actually going on,
right?
Because he's got an inhibitor chip, but
Yep.
he can leave clues and in maybe even the prologue, the chip gets damaged, so he can, and as he goes, he learns that he can actually give out more and more information as it's degraded over time, or something like that.
Yeah, or something he can just he can deny or confirm certain things now, and so people have figured out well enough
what the threat is to the world,
what he's been trying to give them, and because I like the idea, because I almost feel like this is his story. He's actually the most interesting character in this, and I love the idea that halfway through, or at the end of Act 2, right before you go into the climax, that's when he finally gets the chip. They figure out how to destroy the chip, or get the chip out, and that's actually when you get the whole history. You get this flood of flashbacks of 5,000 years of what he's been going through. Maybe there's even some sort of telepathic fucking blast that goes out, so everybody everybody nearby like sees this,
yep,
and sympathizes with them, and like understands, and then that's like going into the final battles.
So the question is, at the end of the second act, does something happen where he turns again, or?
No, I think that's where he comes into his. I think that's where he comes into his own, and now he's like, I can finally tell you what's going on and who I am. Maybe you don't even fully know until that point.
Yep.
He's got inside info. There's some reason he can't tell you, but maybe you just think that like he's a human that has had this done to him or something. You don't necessarily know he's like 5,500 years old until he gets that chip out and everyone gets exposed to these memories.
Yeah. Well, what I'm actually picturing is, you see all these other aliens through time that have sort of influenced society to get them into this one particular place.
Yes. Well, and then him fighting back against it. Like, there's other aliens they've been influencing society to get them into a place where they are useful to these ones coming through the portal. And he's been the sole person, sole alien who knows about this and doesn't want it to happen and has been pushing back.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
I like that a lot. And of course,
and then, from
XCOM
obviously
sort of.
Yeah, the gameplay, I think, XCOM-ish, but maybe XCOM, but with more like vehicular stuff, because I don't think there's much of that.
No.
And so maybe it's a bit more of a broader battlefield, each mission. And so there's a bit more, you've got fucking like flight stuff, jetpacky kind of jump boots and things so you can get around a bit faster and get up higher to get the high ground. Like, there's a lot more verticality to it and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And then, like mechs and tanks, like tank-ish sort of things. I feel like that could be really cool in that sort of tactical, turn-based game.
Yep.
And lots of cool fucking dramatic camera movements when you kill someone, because I love that shit.
Okay.
Cool. All right, we're going to take dramatic camera movements.
Sure, dramatic camera movements, and not like just the idea of a battlefield or large-scale battlefield. I
feel like something different. I feel like we don't want to take the main thing from the previous one because we'll make the same game. Dramatic camera movements. And
3, 2, 1, click.
Yeah. Zillion.
Mixture.
Oh, okay. My mind went straight to those fucking Facebook videos you see where like people are making the recipes.
Yep.
And it's all like zoomed in and doing like speeding up and slow motion stuff to make it look real good and to show you through the thing. So maybe it's just like a VR playground where you are making one of those videos and you've got control of the camera and you've got control of...
It's like an edit bay sort of thing. Yep.
Like you got all these ingredients and stuff and you can just make whatever the fuck you want.
Yep.
It's like a shareable online.
It's kind of like what was that free video thing that Polygon used to do stuff. I
can't remember what it's called, but yeah, where you'd like animate the things and layer them over the top of each other.
Yeah, I kind of like the idea that you could be doing that, so you can be your own cameraman. You just lock in place that you're doing some whisking, so now you're like, okay, cameraman, come in close and go dramatic camera angles.
Exactly. Like rack focus onto, the bubbles from the eggs that are now completely, and we've got to get some good like liquid physics in there, some good steam coming off things.
Yep.
And then you've just got like a fucking fridge and pantry full of every ingredient you could ever want.
Yep.
Wait. Maybe that's part of it, but maybe part of it is also like a Nailed It style cooking show.
I do kind of like the idea of this being just a playground, kind of like your Gary's Mod sort of thing. You can do whatever you want with it. There's no actual like.
Fair enough. Okay, Okay.
There's no actual story mode or anything behind it.
Okay, so that we won't bring that in. It's just that if you wanted, you could get a bunch of people together in multiplayer and make an episode of that.
Oh, yeah. It's a playground that you can do whatever you want. You can have one person as a cameraman if you wanted to.
Yeah. But the focus is on food.
Yes.
And we do our best to like physically simulate food as best as possible to the point of
to the point of if
like
you actually wanted
different
to
things together.
If you wanted to, you could actually make some of these videos for real and put them out there, and people would actually go, "Oh, there's a novel way of actually showing how to make recipes."
Yeah. We've got some level of AI in there that knows that, you know, certain mixtures of flour and water will make then a dough or a paste or a whatever that, you know, of a certain consistency. And then you're able to just like layer different things based on, you know, like icing and fondant and whatever, if you're making cakes, or, you know, that you can cut things up and they're all physically accurate. They make change, you know, it knows to like brown the things when you cook them, or you can leave them in too long and just burn stuff.
Yep.
Get a dramatic shot of flames in the oven.
Yeah, what I'm picturing is that you can program in the time, not the time, the temperature and how long you want it to bake for. But you can also do a super fast forward thing of, you know, you get sort of like the wipe and it's gone forward to it's already done.
For sure. And here's one I prepared earlier.
And it automatically says it every single time. And here's one that I prepared earlier.
That's the magic phrase to do the wipe. It just like instantly goes to wherever you set it to.
Okay.
All right. I like that.
So what element are we taking forward?
Wipes.
Okay.
I like the idea of some sort of edit.
3, 2, 1, click.
Uh-huh.
Bang.
Taunt. Okay. Some sort of... So how can we bring edits and wipes into that? Like, basically you want to be editing between two moments in time, so where you see the results of an action or something. Perhaps.
Yeah, I'd rather not go down the edit way of thinking, but the wipes is fine.
Yeah.
I'm sort of seeing this as like a high noon sort of thing. I see bang and taunt, and I sort of think, you know, high noon, showdown.
Cowboys, Wild West,
kind of. In the scenes I'm seeing, you know, star wipes and like really kind of dodgy.
Maybe we bring in, it's not necessarily full on wipes like that, but you know, you start the showdown and the screen, you know, splits in half. Like one side of the screen comes across, and now you're seeing the perspective of both people or something, or like from behind each of them or something in a split screen kind of. Or maybe it's just very comic booky where you focus on one person and a little frame comes in of like a close up of their face as they're like sneering into the sun.
Mm-hmm.
What's the gameplay?
So what I was thinking is kind of like the insult sword fighting in Monkey Island. You've got taunts and stuff like that you can throw out at each other.
Yep.
The idea being that you've got to sort of get angry enough to want to pull the trigger.
Okay, yep. So where my mind went, and I don't know, I feel like someone must have done this by now. A multiplayer VR high noon simulator.
Yep.
Where, you know, so you have to aim right. You're only as quick as your own actual hand to like pull it out of the holster. But you've got like taunt emotes as well. And I guess maybe, you know, it doesn't take over control of your hands perhaps, but like it or maybe it doesn't have to be emotes, I suppose. You're in VR, you can just fucking taunt them. But but maybe there's some timing around like or maybe there's some sort of taunt jousting in that you can fire off a taunt.
Yep.
And if they don't like do some certain thing to block it, basically, then you're going to get some level of power up or something. Like your bullet's going to move faster or something, or you're going to get less of a penalty if you pull it out of your holster earlier. I don't know, something like that.
Yep.
So that there's this balance between, you could just play it as like if nobody taunts, it's just a straight shootout, and you're watching for when they fire, they're watching for when you fire, and you're just trying to take them out. But yeah, there's this added element of, I'm going to throw out a taunt to try to get a power up of some kind, but that's a risk because, maybe you might have to, there's some level of concentration required to fire off the taunt, and they could just maybe shoot you while that happens. So you still have to be watching them while.
Yeah, I think you could actually have like a sort of reason behind why you don't want to be the one to shoot first. So the whole idea is that it's all about faking the other person out to get them to shoot first, so that you're like killing them in self-defense sort of thing.
Right. Perhaps, yeah. Because, I mean, the whole thing in a regular shootout of, like, why it takes so long is more just, like...
them psyching themselves up and...
Yeah, they're sort of psyching themselves up, and, like, but obviously if the other person goes to draw, it's like, oh, shit, they're going to shoot me, I need to shoot them first. And so you're just waiting for that moment when one person finally does it. But, yeah, I guess there's less of that in VR, because the stakes are lower. You don't die in VR if you don't die in real life if you die in VR yet.
Yeah, I think there's style points and that sort of stuff that you can go for. So,
oh yeah, well maybe you have to turn the tide of the crowd has to be like that's what some of the taunts do, is they bring the crowd to your side.
Yeah,
so you'll get more
that's why I was
points
sort of looking at the insult sword fighting sort of way of thinking, because then you've got sort of if you give the right response to something, then you can turn the crowd to your side, sort of thing.
Yeah, it's definitely harder in a multiplayer game. But.
Yeah, that could definitely be like the single player version.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. I do love that idea of just like, because I like the idea even then of you could have multiplayer spectators as well.
Mm-hmm.
And you because the rounds are so quick, you could be doing sort of a round robin thing, and it's like, oh, it's my turn, I'm up against this person. There's sort of a bit of a tournament going on, but everyone's there watching, and maybe they can like give points to each person based on the taunts and stuff they do. So it's much more free form, but then obviously you need to make sure it doesn't just turn into fucking 13-year-old boys calling each other gay slurs or whatever. But maybe they can't actually like talk. Maybe the voice isn't. It's all through just gestures, and maybe some lines that you can unlock. Even right, you can unlock new taunt lines and things, and maybe hand motions that you can't actually do in VR without the index controllers.
Okay, so this is sort of taking it a little bit away from where we've been.
Yeah.
I like the idea of, the shootout being part of it, but I kind of want to gamify everything else a little bit more. So I'm picturing, instead of it being like a typical high noon thing of, you've got revolvers and that sort of stuff, what you've actually got is something that looks about the size of a t-shirt cannon. So...
Look, much larger. Is it like still holstered?
Well, what I was thinking is this is a VR dodgeball sort of game, but how you're firing off the dodgeballs at each other are like these t-shirt cannon size things.
Okay, but it's still one-on-one.
Well, I'm thinking it's team on team sort of thing. You can catch a ball, and obviously it's still typical dodgeball rules. But I'm thinking where the high noon thing can come down to is like right at the very end, kind of like if you remember the movie Dodgeball, where you've got sort of like the sudden death shootout, where each of you have a single ball each, and that's all you've got. So, you're sort of able to dodge out of the way and shoot it, and then once your ball's gone, it's gone, sort of thing.
It's gone. Yeah, right.
Because I reckon blocking balls with the cannon could actually be kind of cool. Blocking the balls with the cannon, catching with your left hand, you know,
I feel like we need to just bring that into a full-on VR dodgeball game as a new game, because that would be really cool, even without the cannon, even without the shooting stuff, just having a dodgeball game.
Yep.
You know, the physicality of that is there with blocking balls with a ball that you're holding and, you know, being able to jump out of the way and stuff. It would obviously need to be room scale.
And then being able to taunt at other people and that sort of stuff.
Yeah. So I feel like that's almost a separate... Let's leave the High Noon one there. That was cool. Multiplayer VR.
Yep.
High Noon with spectators and taunting. And now we bring the words into a new thing.
Yep.
That's a cool VR dodgeball game. Because that would be really cool.
Now, unlike the typical rules of dodgeball where there's that ball in the center and you got to run for it, that's not going to happen.
No, it'd have to be... because that's what I'm trying to think of. Like, the limitations within VR, then how can you transfer that into dodgeball and then maybe mix it up a bit so that you can... You know, you'd maybe expect a little bit of room scale so you can sort of dodge to the side and dodge a ball, but
you're also using the
running around the whole
whatever.
court.
Yep.
Yeah, something like that. I guess you just have some free thumbstick movement, or like maybe like some of the lean movement or something. You know, like anyway, there are a few different traversal methods in VR that you could use there.
But yeah, I like the idea.
That could be interesting in a lot of sports ball games.
Yeah,
sports ball games. I'm picturing like a volleyball game or I mean, people have made sports games in VR. But,
the one that seems to work the best is table tennis.
I do like the idea of maybe like a Mario, like the way that Nintendo with their Mario sports games, like kind of adds some elements on top with like, you know, setting the ball on fire and different, you know, power-ups and you collect coins and stuff or whatever, but bringing that into dodgeball VR in a way. So there's a bit of a layered element on there of actual gaminess, video gaminess.
I'm picturing that, you know, the tutorials are sort of like, you know, picking up the ball and aiming at targets and basically getting your aim quite right. And then, you know, you got a dodging thing in which you got to, you know, duck, dive, dodge.
Well, I was about to say the tutorial has to be Rip Torn just throwing spanners at you, doesn't it? It's the whole tutorial. You just keep going until you get it right.
Dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge.
That's it. Oh, fuck, now I want to watch dodgeball. I like that. And but then I'd like the gamey, adding some gamey aspects. Like if you block 5 times, then your next shot's going to be like super powered or something or whatever. Add some cool ragdoll stuff. Like if you get knocked out by a Super Bowl, your fucking model just ragdolls across the screen for everyone else to see. I don't know what that does to your VR perspective. Might make you a bit sick, but or maybe you just your VR perspective gets warped to the sidelines. It's fast enough that you see your body like ragdolling through the air.
Get ragdolled through the air and then
just smash against the back wall or whatever.
Oh god.
Well, and then the benefits of VR is even if it's a fairly traditional rules of dodgeball, you can play it anywhere. Dodgeball in space, dodgeball underwater, dodgeball on the top of the Empire State Building.
You just remind me how quickly you were going through them of Spaceballs the flamethrower.
Dodgeball or flamethrower dodgeball. Totally. Throw some weapons in there. Now it's a different game.
Okay, I reckon we go one more.
All right, let's do one more. What are we bringing in? Spanners?
Yep, spanners.
All right. Frequenter.
Legislation.
Okay.
So it's set in the same world of dodgeball, but what's actually happened is Patches O'Houlihan has been charged for throwing spanners at like little old ladies, and that's where it sort of starts.
Right.
And they've now someone's put forward a new legislation stopping all spanner sales going forward because they're too dangerous.
Right. Meanwhile, gun control hasn't passed in the slightest, but spanners are now banned.
Yeah, because there's no like National Spanner Association.
Oh, no, I was being completely serious. That would 100% happen. So Patches O'Houlihan has sort of dived deeper into dementia. How's that for a dodgeball alliteration? Yep. Dodge, dive, duck, dip, and dementia.
Oh, God.
And so now he's just like trying to train random people on the street by throwing spanners at them.
He threw it at a nurse.
Yeah, he threw it at a nurse. He broke her arm.
Like, I know that he dies in the movie. Spoiler. But I kind of like the idea that this is just before he gets out and does the whole thing in the dodgeball universe. Like,
yeah.
He's just got in trouble at this nursing home for like throwing a spanner at one of the nurses.
Yeah, and so there's now a nationwide ban on spanners.
Yep. And
you play a plumber who is now still trying to do their fucking job.
Yep.
So that's just the kickoff of why there are no spanners.
Yep. So what was your word again?
Can't remember. Frequenter.
Frequenter
and frequenter. You were a frequent flyer of the Spanner store.
I mean, what I was actually going to go
which
down...
had to be renamed the Banner store. They now, like, because they didn't want to replace all the letters. They just put an extra, like, circle on the P and got rid of the S, and now they sell banners for, like, birthdays and stuff.
So the other day I was reading up on, like, I went down the Wikipedia hole on Don Coscarelli.
Okay. Who is that?
He's a director who directed the Phantasm series, the movie John Dies at the End, and a movie that has just come to my mind of Bubba Hotep.
Okay, yep.
I kind of like the idea of Patches O'Houlihan getting in trouble from throwing the spanner at a nurse. But it was the only thing that he sort of, like, he was thinking that the nurse was actually, you know, this entity called the Frequenter.
Okay, all right.
I'm kind of wanting to take it in a supernatural way.
Yep,
sort of thinking that, you know, it's his dementia that's actually causing all these things. But it turns out that there is actually a like, supernatural thing happening at this nursing home. And
okay, so what does the Frequenter frequent? Is it just that he shows up all the time? Okay,
so I'm thinking that this evil entity is kind of like, if you remember, there was a Buffy episode where there was a evil entity who was trawling around a hospital, basically preying on the weak and killing them.
Okay.
I kind of like the idea of that's sort of what's happening here, and it's, you know, sort of been given the moniker of the Frequenter because basically what happens is it visits these sick and dying over and over and over, and gradually sucks out their their souls. But it's a frequent sort of occurrence.
Yeah, it's a multiple over multiple occasions.
Yep.
Coming back. Okay.
Yeah. So I kind of like the idea of this sort of slightly horror thing.
Play?
You play Patches O'Houlihan.
You play Patches O'Houlihan in the wheelchair? In
a wheelchair. Yeah. In VR.
In VR, okay.
So you've got to actually, you know, do the wheelchair movements.
Yep.
Because I reckon that would actually be really cool to do.
Oh, totally. I feel like we've done that before, but I think that's a great idea. Then someone needs to do that for sure.
Yep. I like the idea that, you know, you break your way into a maintenance closet at some stage and you find, like, a toolkit full of spanners, even though, you know, you've had all your spanners taken away from you. It's one of the things that actually happens right at the very start.
So are we going away from the whole they've been banned everywhere in the nation?
I do like the idea that it got banned, but it's just sort of like background noise that is happening.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a main thing of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, spanners are your main weapon when you finally find them.
Yep. So is this is this still a comedy as well then? It's like a dark horror comedy?
Yeah, kind of like what Bubba Hotep was.
like Bubba Hotep, yeah, for sure.
I do like that idea of, you know, people not treating dodgeball as like a legitimate sport and all this sort of stuff. And every time that you throw out a spanner, he says, you know, one of his classic quotes from the movie.
Right.
Of duck, dip, dodge. Dodge gets said twice as much.
And so do you just end up, is this like, you know, along the lines of one of our very early games, you just like reach behind you and pull out a spanner? Like you've just got an endless supply.
When you finally find them, yeah.
Once you've found them, found the stash, it's as if there's just a big bag of spanners hanging on the back of your wheelchair.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what I like is that, you know, the nurses don't believe you that something's going on, but you're sort of doing some investigation, fighting off against some other evil spirits and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
In a wheelchair, it gives you a very unique angle.
Yeah, for sure. From. And unique challenges as well.
Yeah, I mean, getting away from this thing if it starts going at you, you know, is going to be damn hard.
That'd be horrific.
Really look behind you.
Jesus. Yeah, can you imagine having to try to run from this thing? You're like, you know, having to turn the wheelchair and then just like zoom yourself forward.
Yeah.
Throwing spanners behind you the whole time to try to slow it down.
Yeah, well, the idea being that, you know, it's almost more of a stealth game in a wheelchair. But of course, your tires.
So you have to find like oil. Yeah. It's one of your resources is to get some WD-40.
And finally, when you get out of this thing, you know, and you finally beat the evil entity.
Yeah.
You sort of escape out as part of this thing, and see that, you know, get news that there's this team, you know, trying to play dodgeball, and so you go to help, and it sort of leads right into dodgeball or True Underdog Story. Nice.
So a more traditional prequel, since we knew it was Patches of Hoolan from the beginning and not a sequel. But
it's not a sequel.
Yeah.
If you don't know what a sequel is, then go listen to about
go a couple episodes back. I thought you were going to say that you find out there's a team of XCOM coming because this thing's actually an alien. Take it.
I don't know, but yeah, I like that.
I like that. That's cool. Yeah, cool. And I do really like the idea of VR games. You know, like a wheelchair is a really good example, but giving people that view into, you know, the hardships that others have every day. It's kind of neat, and also just representation for people with disabilities and stuff. So, yeah. Anyway, I think we will finish up there.
Yes, definitely.
If you want to find us online, go to podchaser.com/bitstorm. Follow us on there. You will very soon be able to see our releases and other things we guest in your social feed on Podchaser coming soon. Cool. Plug. We'll likely have a early access key perhaps next week perhaps that we'll be able to, you can get in early for being a Bitstorm listener.
But only if you listen to the end of the episode. In fact, I reckon Ben, you should put it in the middle there somewhere.
We'll jam it in the middle. We'll make it a secret little code in there or something that you have to.
Yep.
Yeah, you make sure you listen all the way through.
Make the code like one of the words that we say in the middle. There's somewhere.
Just a word, just a random. How do we tell them that's what it is then?
Go listen to the third game today.
Listen to the third game today. It's the 253rd word that we said in the third
Trevor's
game.
word in the third game. If you can remember that.
Oh, okay, there you go. Trevor's... Okay, all right. You could... If someone goes and tries this, I'm going to put it in there. I'm not going to tell anyone. Trevor's word in the third game will get you early access to the feed once our page goes up. It should be up by the time you hear this.
That's awesome.
We are also part of the 8-Bit Network. It's a group of like-minded individuals all podcasting together in fun times. Good stuff. Go check out those podcasts. We had Jono on 2 weeks ago. We had John on 2 weeks ago from Comedy Rewind, which is one of them. You can go check out The Hungry Gamers. It is what it is. There's so many good ones. Check that out. You might see us at PAX. We're going to be recording at the Audio Technica booth again, which is another 8-bit kind of thingy, or at least organised by some of them. Yeah, it's a good group.
It is. Another good group is the Australasian Gaming Podcast Network. They are a like-minded group of individuals who all pretty much have podcasts and like to help out everyone else. So check out the Australasian Gaming Podcast Network on Facebook or AGP Network on Twitter. Finally, we'd like to thank Kuridas for the use of the song Mount Defiance off the album Containment Failure.
That's right. So thank you again for joining us this week on Bitstorm. I'm Ben Slinger.
I'm Trevor Scott.
Killing that guy. Killing that guy.